अभिनंदन शिराटी. अभिनंदन शिराटी.
Yes, sir.
अभिनंदन शिराटी. राइट.
Yes, sir.
अभिषेक कागवाड़. अभिषेक कागवाड़. अक्षता बेळवी. अक्षता बेळवी.
Present, sir.
आनंद आनंद क्याबानी. आनंद क्याबानी. अंजुम बिरादर.
Present, sir.
बसवराज गडकरी. बसवराज गडकरी. बसवराज ऐनापुरे. बसवराज ऐनापुरे. भाग्यश्री मठ. भाग्यश्री मठ. भक्ति बस्तवाड़कर. भक्ति बस्तवाड़कर. भारती हादीमनी. भारती. चेतन कुमार सुलदाड़. ओके. चेतन कुमार सुलदाड़.
Present, sir.
चेतन कुमार सुलदाड़.
Sir, present.
ओके. चेतन देन दीपक जामदार. दीपक. दिव्या कुलकर्णी. दिव्या कुलकर्णी. गढ़ प्रथमेश शिवाजी. गढ़ प्रथमेश शिवाजी. ज्योति वल्लेकर.
Present,
ज्योति
sir.
वल्लेकर.
Present, sir.
किरण लिगाड़े. ओके. किरण लिगाड़े. किरण लिगाड़े. लक्ष्मीकांत कालोजी. लक्ष्मीकांत कालोजी. मानतेश पाटिल.
Yes, sir.
मोळे प्रेम. मोळे प्रेम. नागेश दोडशिवण्णवर. नागेश दोडशिवण्णवर. नागेश दोडशिवण्णवर. रंजीश टीए.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
पूजा. ओके. पूजा पाटिल. पूजा पाटिल.
Present, sir.
राइट. प्रमोद कुमार हुंशाळ. प्रमोद कुमार हुंशाळ. प्रवीण मगदुम. प्रवीण मगदुम. प्रियंका. प्रियंका. संध्या शिरोडकर.
Yes, sir.
संतोष पुजारी. संतोष पुजारी. संतोष सोनार.
Present,
संतोष
sir.
सोनार.
Present, sir.
संतोष. ओके. शाहबाज मुल्ला. शाहबाज. शफिया जगदाळ. शफिया.
Present, sir.
राइट. श्रीधर. श्रीधर
Yes, sir.
सोलकणवर.
Yes, sir.
सृष्टी बर्मण्णवर. सृष्टी बर्मण्णवर. सिद्धार्थ वर्णेकर.
Present, sir.
सिद्धार्थ वर्णेकर.
Present.
सिद्धार्थ पाटिल. सिद्धार्थ पाटिल. सुप्रिया.
Present, sir.
सुप्रिया.
Present, sir.
राइट. वंदना केटगौडर. वंदना
Present, sir.
केटगौडर.
Present, sir.
ओके. वसंत तोडमनी.
हाँ, yes, sir.
वेदता कडपगोळा. वेदता कडपगोळा.
Present, sir.
योगेश.
Present, sir.
महेश दोडमनी.
Yes, sir.
बाळेश मुडलगी.
Yes, sir.
बाळेश. तईक मोहम्मद.
Present, sir.
प्रवीण राठोड.
Yes, sir.
अभिषेक पालेकर.
Yes, sir.
ऐश्वर्या.
Present, sir.
अमानुल्लाह जमादार. Others have to mute your audio and video when others are telling their attendance. Aishwarya Bugdikatti over. Amanullah. Amanullah. Bandodkar Tanay Mohandas. Bandodkar Tanay Mohandas. Bhaurav. Bhaurav. Desai Shodhan Ashok.
Present, sir.
Right. देवानवर अनिल कुमार. देवानवर अनिल कुमार. Nand Kumar Patil.
Present, sir.
Kumar.
Present, sir.
Okay. Pramod Kesti.
Present, sir.
Kesti. Rohini Paule. Rohini Paule. Rohit Alwani. Rohit Alwani. Shashidhar Gaudar. Shashidhar Gaudar. Sridhar Badger. Sridhar Badger. Those who have come now, just tell your names. Who all have come now? Just quickly tell your names. Who have joined late? Yes? Who have joined late? Just tell your names. Some students came just now, right? Late comers. Who all came now? Just tell your names. Kiran Ligade. Okay.
Kiran Ligade, sir.
Yes. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Mullah, sir.
Shahbaz. 1 minute. Shahbaz. Okay. Anybody else? Shahbaz Sachin. Sachin Pujari. Okay. Right. Anybody else? Yes. So all are here. Okay. We'll start with the presentation. Is the screen visible to everyone? Screen is visible to everyone, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In yesterday's class, we discussed the architecture of 8051 microcontroller, where we discussed the different blocks of 8051 microcontroller. So which are the different blocks of 8051 microcontroller? Interrupt control block, ROM block, RAM block, timer block, interrupt control block, okay, IO ports block, oscillator block, serial port communication block. These are the different blocks of 8051 microcontroller. We discussed the function of each of these blocks. Then later I explained pin diagram of 8051 microcontroller. How many pin IC is 8051 microcontroller? Yes. How many pin IC is 8051 microcontroller? Anyone? 40 pin IC. Correct. 40 pin IC. It is 40 pin microcontroller, that is 8051. Then we discussed the function of each of the pins, right? There are 4 ports, P0 to P3. Then we discussed their functions. VCC pin, ground pin, external 1, external 2 pin, reset pin to stop the activities of the microcontroller, external access pin and PSEN bar pin to access the external memory. We used the EA bar pin, right? EA bar pin. And then later we also explained ALE, address latch enable, considering the multiplexing concept. Okay. Then later I discussed alternate functions of port 3, that is RXT, TXT, INT0, INT1, T0, T1, WR and RD pins. Right. So these were the topics that we discussed in the previous class. Let us continue with the new topics in today's class. The first one is memory organization in 8051 microcontroller. Here, as we know that there are 2 types of memory. One is internal memory, another one is external memory. Internal memory is present inside the microcontroller chip or on the microcontroller chip, whereas external memory is present outside the microcontroller chip. If we want to read the data or write the data, we can store the data completely in the internal memory or completely in the external memory or in the combination of internal memory and external memory. So what are the three possibilities, students? The three possibilities are we can completely store the data in the internal memory, or we can completely store in the external memory, or we can store in the combination of internal memory. Some data we can store in the internal memory and some data we can also store in the external memory. So these are the three options. Okay. Now here 8051 microcontroller, it is having Harvard architecture. It has Harvard architecture. We know what is a Harvard architecture. Harvard architecture is an architecture in which the data memory and program memory are present separately. Data memory is separate and program memory is separate. So such architecture we call as Harvard architecture. Is it not? Now, the advantage of having the Harvard architecture, we are very much familiar with the feature of Harvard architecture. That is, we can access the data simultaneously from the data memory and from the program memory. That is, we can read and write the data at the same time from the data memory and also from the program memory or the ROM memory. Okay, data memory and program memory. The same addresses can be used both in data memory and program memory, depending upon the nature of the operation in progress. That is, whether it is reading the program or reading the data. Right? We can store the instructions and also we can store the data. Clear? So based on whether we are reading the instructions or we are reading the data, based on the nature of the operation, right, we can use the same addresses both in the RAM memory, that is in the data memory, and in the ROM memory. Fine. Now here in this figure, I have shown EA bar pin. EA bar pin is connected to plus 5 volts. That is, it is connected to high. It is connected to 1, logic 1. Right? So it is, when it is connected to logic 1, then the data can be read both from the internal memory and from the external memory. So I have shown here internal program memory, that is ROM memory, and external program memory, that is ROM memory, which is outside the microcontroller, which is outside the main block. Okay. So here, when this EA bar is connected to 1, the data can be read both from the internal memory and also from the external memory. That is what is being shown here. And if EA bar pin is connected to low, if it is connected to active low signal, then the data can be read only from the external memory. We can read the data only from the external memory, not from the internal memory. Clear here? The program memory can be up to 64 kilobytes long. So that is what I have shown here. The program memory size is 64 kilobytes. But how we are using here, when we have connected EA bar to plus 5 volts, that is active high signal. EA bar is active low, but we are connecting it to high, that is plus 5 volts high. So here we are reading the data from the memory location 0000H to 0FFFH, 0FFFH from the ROM memory, internal ROM memory, and remaining data we are reading from the next memory location, that is 1000H to FFFFH from the external ROM memory. Clear here? So if EA bar pin is connected to VCC, this is how we are reading the data. If EA bar pin is connected to VSS, that is ground pin, then internal ROM memory is disabled and all the program or the instructions we are reading from the external ROM memory. If the program store enable is low, right? Here to read the program, to read the data from the ROM memory, external memory, we are using two pins, mainly two pins. One is EA bar, another one is PSEN bar, program store enable bar. EA bar is external access bar. Okay. So when we make these two pins, EA bar and PSEN bar pin low, only then it is possible to read the program or the instructions that we have stored in the external ROM memory or in the external memory. Is it clear here? The program counter, which is meant to store the instructions of that instruction which is going to be executed next. PC is the program counter which stores the memory location of the instruction to be executed next. Okay. So this program counter does not care where the program is located. PC register or the program counter register does not care where the program is located. It is not the job of the program counter to see where the program is stored, whether it is stored in internal memory or in the external memory. Clear? But it is the job of the circuit designer. It is the circuit designer who decides whether the data should be completely in the internal memory or completely in the external memory or in the combination of internal memory and the external memory. Right? So this is about the memory organization in 8051. Next, we will see RAM memory organization, in particular specific to RAM memory organization. How much is the ROM memory size? It is 4 kilobytes. RAM memory size is 128 bytes. Yes or no? In this figure, I have shown the RAM memory organized into 3 blocks. Right? Everybody are seeing this. There are 3 blocks here. First block is working registers. Second is bit addressable memory. And third is general purpose memory. The working register block, it consists of 4 register set. It consists of 4 register set. Okay, 4 register banks. It consists of 4 register bank. That is what it is indicated here. 0 register bank, first register bank, second register bank, and third register bank. Okay, first register bank, that is which is having same registers R0 to R7. It is stored from the memory location 00 to 07H. That is what it is being shown at the bottommost portion of the working registers. Right? 00 is the memory location of R0 register. 01 is the memory location of R1 register. Similarly, 07 is the memory location in which R7 register is stored. Clear? Now, the next register bank upper to this, it is register bank 1. This register bank also has got the same registers R0 to R7, but its memory location is different. For example, if you take the R0 register in register bank 1, its memory location is 08H. And if you consider R7 register of register bank 1, its memory location is 0FH. Clear? So upper to this register bank 0, it is register bank 1, and then we have register bank 2. Totally, there are 4 register banks: register bank 0, register bank 1, sorry, register bank 0, register bank 1, register bank 2, and register bank 3. And each register bank has got 8 registers. These are called working registers. Following students. Now these register banks are selected using the bits stored in program status word register. There is a register called as PSW, program status word register. In this PSW register, there are 2 bits which are meant to select the register bank. Clear? So these 2 bits are RS1 and RS0 bit. RS1 and RS0 bits. There are 2 bits which are used to select the register banks. For example, if RS1 and RS0 both are 0, then register bank 0 is selected. Okay, binary to decimal conversion, right? Just like that. And if the RS1 and RS0 is 10 stands for decimal 2. So the register bank 2 is selected. If RS1 and RS0 are 11, okay, 11, RS1 is 1, RS0 is 1. So it is 3. Okay, binary 11 is decimal 3. Register bank 3 will be selected like that. So like this, the register banks are selected based on the bits RS1 and RS0 in the PSW register. So these register banks which are not selected can be used as general purpose memory. Which we have selected, they will be meant for a particular application, for a particular operation. Whichever are not used, they can be used as general purpose memory. Okay, so these registers can be accessed by their names or directly by their RAM address. For example, if you want to read the data from R4 register of register bank 0, then how I can read that data? First, I have to select the register bank 0 and then read the value that is stored in R4 register. This is one method, one way. Another way is to directly use the memory location of R4 register of register bank 0. Come on students, now tell me what is the memory location of the R4 register of register bank 0? It is 04H, correct? 04H is the memory location of R4 register of register bank 0. So if I use this 04H memory location, directly I can store the data into this register, or I can read the data from this register R4. Okay, so this is how I am using 2 ways. One is to use the memory location of that register. Another way is to select the register bank first and then select that particular register in that bank. The next is the bit addressable RAM. The middle portion that you are seeing is bit addressable RAM. This is of 16 bytes. Working register is of 32 bytes. Each register is of 8 bits, 1 byte. So there are totally 32 registers, 4 register banks, each having 8 registers. So 4 into 8, 32 registers or 32 bytes. Yes or no? So 32 bytes of working registers, bit addressable memory 16 bytes. So this varies from 20H memory location to 2FH memory location. A total of 16 bytes. The meaning of bit addressable memory is we can read the single bit from this memory or we can write the single bit into this memory. That is the meaning of bit addressable memory. In related to this bit addressable, there is one more term called as byte addressable. Byte addressable means we can read all the 8 bits at a time or we can write all the 8 bits at a time. But it is not possible to read single bits if it is byte addressable. Either we have to read all the 8 bits or we have to store all the 8 bits. Single bit reading of among those 8 bits or single bit writing among those 8 bits is not possible in case of byte addressable memory. But this is possible only with the bit addressable memory. We can read the single bit or we can store into that particular single bit memory location a particular value, that is either 0 or 1. Right? So the bit address in this area are from 00 to 7FH. The 8051 instruction sets includes single bit instructions. There are certain single bit instructions used to fetch the data. Fetch the data means to read or to write the data. So the 128 bits, totally how many? 202 to 2FH, that is 16 bytes. So 16 into 8. How much you get? 16 into 8, 128. So there are totally 128 bits in this bit addressable memory. So the bits can be referred into this, that is, you can read directly the memory location of that particular bit, or you can select the byte memory location and then you can read the particular bit. Okay. For example, if I want to read the memory location, say that is 0 to 7 bits. Bits 0 to 7 I want to read. Okay. So I can read this bits 0 to 7 by accessing that byte memory location. What is the byte memory location of 0 to 7 bit? Bit 7 to 0, it is 20H. So if I use 20.0, it means the 0th bit of that 20H memory location data. If I use the memory location as 20.7, then it is the MSB bit, most significant bit of the data that is stored in 20H memory location. Clear, friends? So if it is 20.0, it is the least significant bit, LSB bit, that we are reading of the data which is stored in 20H memory location. If it is 20.2, we are reading the third bit. Okay, LSB is first bit, 20.1 is second bit, 20.2 is third bit. Like that, 20.7 means it is the most significant bit. We can read that most significant bit or we can write into that particular bit. So these are the two ways how we are reading the single bit from the bit addressable memory. So next to the bit addressable memory is the general purpose memory. General purpose memory location is from 30H to 7FH. Is from 30H to 7FH. This is meant for storing the general purpose data. Whatever are the general purpose data, so those general purpose data are stored in this 80 byte memory location. It is from 30H to 7FH. So it is totally of 80 bytes. Right? Now count the total number of bytes. 32 bytes for working registers. Fine. Then 16 bytes for bit addressable memory. So 32 plus 16 is 48. Then 80 bytes for general purpose memory. So 80 plus 48. How much it is? 128 bytes. So like this is altogether 128 byte RAM memory in 8051 memory location. RAM memory location. It is of 128 bytes in 8051 microcontroller. Okay. Next, students, we will see some of the special function registers. Now, what are these special function registers? These special function registers are the registers which are used if the data is not stored in the internal RAM memory. If the data is not stored in the internal RAM memory, then the frequently used operations data can be stored also in some of the registers which are called as special function registers. Okay. Now the first register is accumulator. Like that, we have B register, data pointer high DPH, data pointer low DPL. So we have got these registers, special function registers. I have indicated the name of the register in the first column, function of the register or the expansion of that register in the second column, middle column, and the memory location in which this register is stored is indicated in the last column. So if we consider the accumulator, which is the most versatile register, that memory location in which it is stored is E0H. E0H is the RAM memory of the accumulator. Okay, so this accumulator register is stored in the RAM memory location E0H. Similarly, B register, which is meant for arithmetic operations, is stored in RAM memory location F0H. Right. So like that, other registers, which all I have indicated here, they are stored in different RAM memory locations. Right. So these special function registers have addresses between 80H to FFH. Right. So the address memory locations from 00 to 7FH is meant for the internal RAM memory. Yes or no? Above that 7FH memory location, that is 80H to FFH, that is meant for specially for the special function registers. So this 80H to FFH are meant for the special function registers, but even though it is meant for these special function registers, some of the memory locations are empty and they should not be used. These are meant for the system purpose. Okay, user cannot use, the programmer, we cannot use some of the memory locations of this, the memory locations used by the memory location that is in between 80 to FFH. Okay, even though the special function registers use the memory location between 80H to FFH, some memory locations between these memory location 80H to FFH are empty, and these memory locations cannot be used by the user, but they are meant only for the system purpose. So they are reserved. We call them as reserved memory locations. Fine, students. Now these SFRs can be accessed by their names using implicit addressing mode. So we can read directly using their names. We can read the data from these registers by using their names in the instructions. That is called implicit addressing mode, or we can use the direct addressing mode. We can use the memory location in which these registers are stored in the instruction, so that we will be able to read the data which is stored in this in particular special function register, or we can write the data into the particular special function register. So some special function registers are byte addressable, some special function registers are bit addressable. I told the difference between bit addressable SFR or bit addressable memory and the byte addressable memory. Let us take up these special function registers one after the other. That is what it is. Some frequently used operations of 8051 that do not use the internal 128 byte RAM addresses from 00H to 7FH are done by a group of specific internal registers in 8051 called special function registers. SFRs have addresses between 80H to FFH. Some empty locations exist that are reserved and must not be used by the programmers. They can be accessed by their names, that is SFRs can be accessed by their names called as implicit addressing mode, or by their addresses called as direct addressing mode. Some SFRs are both byte addressable and bit addressable. Some SFRs are only byte addressable, some SFRs are only bit addressable, and there are few SFRs which are both byte addressable and bit addressable. Accumulator register, it is A register. It is the first special function register. It is the most versatile of the registers of 8051. Versatile means it is most frequently used register among all the SFRs of 8051 microcontroller. Why it is used? It is used for holding the result of the operations addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and Boolean bit manipulations. This is also used for data transfer that occurs between 8051 and external memory location. Next is B register. B register, its address is F0H. It is stored in F0H memory location. It is used along with the accumulator for performing multiplication and division operations. And the B register can also be used as a general purpose register. This B register is bit addressable. That means we can read the single bit from the B register, or we can write the single bit value into the particular bit memory location of the B register. Next, program status word, PSW register. An 8-bit register which indicates status of some flags that are affected by result of current instruction executed. Yesterday I discussed that in PSW register there are certain flags. Which are the different flags I discussed yesterday? Yes, carry flag, auxiliary carry flag, parity flag, and overflow flag. So these flags indicate the status of the operations performed by the instructions. Okay, so carry flag is meant for indicating the status of the carry generated. If we consider overflow flag, it indicates the overflow condition. I give the example of the tank being overflowing. And parity flag indicates the number of ones. How many number of ones are there? Whether it is even number of ones are even, or number of ones are odd. Even parity and odd parity. Okay. Stack pointer SP, it is an 8-bit register. Its address is 81H. Its address is 81H. It contains data items currently on top of stack, which points to top of the stack memory. Yesterday I discussed SP, that is stack pointer register. It is last in first out memory. I have given the example of placing the books on the table, right? Last in first out memory. This SP register, it is storing the memory location of the currently stored data. Whichever is the data that is latest stored in the stack memory, that data memory location will always be stored in the SP register, in the stack pointer register. That is what I have mentioned here. Contains data items currently on top of stack. That is points to top of stack. Top of stack means the data which is latest stored in the stack memory, which is recently stored in the stack memory. DPTR, data pointer. So this DPTR is 16-bit register. It is used to access external code or data memory. It is used to access external code or data memory. It consists of two 8-bit registers, data pointer high, that is DPH, higher byte, which is stored in 83H memory location, and data pointer low. It is altogether 16-bit register, DPTR. This is broken down into two 8-bit registers. The upper bit 8-bit register is data pointer high, DPH, and the lower 8-bit register is data pointer low, DPL. Clear? Then port registers. 8051 has 4 port registers, P0, P1, P2, and P3. So their addresses are 80H, 90H, A0H, and B0H respectively. All these ports are bit addressable. That is, we can read the single bits from these port registers, or we can write the single bit into these port registers, which are meant for inputting and outputting the data from the microcontroller. Timer registers. 8051 contains two 16-bit timer or counters for timing intervals or counting the events. To maintain the timing and to perform the counting operation, we require two 16 timers are provided by the 8051 microcontroller. Timer 0 is at address 8BH. Again, the 16-bit timer is broken down into two 8-bit timer registers. Timer 0 has the higher byte, higher 8 bits. It is timer high, timer 0 high, and lower 8 bits of timer 0, it is timer 0 low. Timer 0 low. Okay. So that is how it is. Timer 0 high, higher byte of timer 0. Timer 0 low, lower byte of timer 0. Similarly, timer 1 is broken down into two 8-bit registers. It is a 16-bit register. It is broken down into two 8-bit registers. Timer 1 low, it is lower 8 bits of timer 1. Timer 1 high is higher 8 bits of timer 1. Following students, timer operation is set by the timer mode control register at address 89H and timer control register at address 88H. Timer operation is controlled by two registers. One is timer mode register, T-mod. Another one is timer control register, T-code. Then interrupt registers. Interrupt is for applying the interrupt to the microcontroller. 8051 has 5 interrupts, 3 internal interrupts and 2 external interrupts. And these interrupts have 2 priority levels. Priority level means higher priority or lower priority. If the particular interrupt has higher priority, then the service to this interrupt is provided first. And if some other interrupt is having lower priority, then the service to that interrupt is provided next. Okay, second service will be given to the interrupt which is having lower priority. But rather, if the interrupt is having higher priority, service to that interrupt will be given first, whichever is having the higher priority. Interrupts can be enabled or disabled by writing appropriate bit values in the interrupt enable register. There is a register called as IE register or interrupt enable register. So the interrupts will be enabled or disabled by writing particular bit values in this IE register. The memory location in which this IE register is stored is E8H. Priority level is set using interrupt priority register IP. This IP register or the interrupt priority register is for applying the priority, higher priority or lower priority for the different interrupts. So this IP register is located at the memory location B8H. Both the registers are bit addressable. That is, the IE register and IP register are bit addressable. Next is power control register, PCON. This is located at memory location 87H of the RAM memory. A special bit called SMOD is used to double the serial port baud rate. There is a bit called as SMOD. So this SMOD bit is for doubling the speed at which the data bits are transmitted or received per second from the microcontroller. If you want to double the speed of the bits which are transmitted from the microcontroller or the bits which are received into the microcontroller, then the speed can be doubled using this SMOD bit which is in the PCON register. Serial port registers 8051 contains on-chip and on-chip serial port for communicating. On-chip serial port for communicating with serial devices. So 8051 microcontroller contains the on-chip port. Port is nothing but external connections, pins, okay, which are for sending the data and for receiving the data. 8051 has got serial port, which is meant for serial communication. There is a register SBUF, which is at memory location 99H. So this SBUF register, as I told yesterday, whatever data is to be transmitted out from the microcontroller, that is stored in SBUF register first. And whatever data is received into the microcontroller, that is stored in SBUF register first. Register SBUF at address 99H holds both transmit data and receive data. Various modes of operation are programmable through the bit addressable serial port control register at address 98H. So there are various modes of operation. Okay, so these modes of operation are programmable. We can program these modes using the register SCON. That means programming the mode means we can set the particular mode. We can set the particular mode for that serial communication. There are 4 modes for serial communication. Serial mode 0, serial mode 1, serial communication mode 2, serial communication mode 3. Mode 0, mode 1, mode 2 and mode 3. So we can select a particular mode for the particular serial communication operation. So next is the stack memory, right? This we will take up in the next class. What all we discussed in today's class, students? We started with the study of the memory location. We discussed what is internal memory, what is external memory, correct? We discussed the structure of the memory structure of 8051 microcontroller. How the data is stored only in the internal memory or in the external memory or in the combination of internal memory and external memory. Then after that, the next discussion was on internal RAM organization, which is of 128 bits. It is organized into 3 blocks. The first block is the working registers, which is of 32 bytes. The second block is the bit addressable memory, which is of 16 bytes. And the third block is the general purpose memory, which is of 80 bytes. Correct? Next discussion was on, that is, special function registers, which are the registers meant to store frequently used data. If the RAM memory is not used, then we are storing the frequently used data in the special registers called as special function registers. So there are various special function registers such as accumulator register, B register, PSW register, SP, DPTR, P0, P1, P2, P3, IP, IE, TMOD, TCON, TH0, TL0, TH1, TL1, SCON, SBUF, and TCON. So we discussed the function of these various special function registers. Right? I hope everybody have understood, students here. If there are any questions, then we'll take up the questions. Any questions from the student side? I hope everybody have understood. Yes, please. Yes, students, everybody have understood here. Students, everybody have understood?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Any questions then? Any questions? I hope everybody are following whatever I am explaining. Yes? Yes, please. Everybody are following, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. See now, any questions from the student side? Any questions from your end? Is there any
No,
questions? Just see if there are any questions, any doubts, then we'll clear your doubts. Any questions you want to ask? Any doubt? Yes? So any doubts here?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Any doubts in the previous classes, from previous classes? Any doubts? You have gone through the material. Any doubts there from previous classes? No? Okay, fine then. Just see if you are having any doubts, you can ask me the doubts. Okay, anytime, right? I will clarify your doubt. Even in the online session also you can ask the doubts, right? So that your doubts will be clarified. Fine, students. So with this, we will wind up the today's session. We'll continue with the next topics. That is, next I'll be discussing the operation of stack memory, then external memory, interfacing. So those topics we'll take up in the next class. Fine. Thank you.